The largest prison strike in U.S. history is currently happening, and it's been happening for weeks, even though you might not have heard about it in the mainstream media. Now, during this prison protest, there are a number of different things that the prisoners are demanding, but the one thing that connects all of these protesters is how they feel about prison labor. As a lot of you might already know, prisoners are pretty much forced to work for some of our biggest corporations, and they make either no money or they make a couple cents per hour manufacturing certain products, okay? So the issue that has unified the protesters is of prison labor, a $2 billion a year industry that employs nearly 900,000 prisoners while paying them a few cents an hour in some states and nothing at all in others. Now understand that while they're essentially forced into doing this labor for free, these are also jobs that used to pay Americans decent wages. And now they're kind of being, funneled into the prison industry because corporations realize that they can take advantage of this labor and not have to worry about paying them. For months, inmates at dozens of prisons across the country have been organizing through a network of smuggled cell phones, social media pages, and other supportive allies on the outside. The effort culminated in a mass refusal to report to prison jobs on September 9th, the anniversary of the 1971 Attica prison uprising. So there are other issues at hand that concern the prisoners. For instance, the overuse of solitary confinement. Some of them are engaging in hunger strikes. The tactics used by these protesters differ from one state to another. But according to reports, there are prisoners in 24 states and 40 to 50 prisoners pledged to join the strike, and at least 11 states and 20 prisons continue to protest. So this continues to grow, but it's not getting any media coverage whatsoever.
So this is an amazing story, and thank God the Intercept's around to cover it, because the rest of the mainstream media totally stonewalled on this. Now, partly for understandable reasons, because the prisons are clamping down and they're putting the so-called ringleaders, they took 150 of the ringleaders and put them in isolation, solitary confinement, restricted their access to communication. Some of these prisons were locked down, and when the press asks why they're locked down, they won't give an answer.
Yep.
It's because there's this massive strike going on that they don't want people to know about. But now we do know about it, and we're too busy covering Trump's empty podium to worry about something like this, which is so monumentally important. So, it's a combination of it's gotten worse and I didn't know how bad it was. So I think that, like when I was growing up, I took the war on drugs as a given. I was like, well, I don't know.
Drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad, and I've been told my whole life by my parents, by TV, by everyone in authority, drugs are, including pot, are irrevocably, irredeemably bad. And so, of course, there should be a war on drugs. So only later as an adult you get the facts and you begin to realize that's not true. Same thing with the prison labor. I realized I'd always thought, like, well, of course, prisoners are going to work for pennies on the dollar, like literally for a couple of cents an hour. And I was like, wait, why? No, these guys were absolutely right. That is slavery. That's slavery. Because it's one thing when they were doing it in the old days and they were a chain gang and that was terrible on its own right, and they're breaking rocks and presumably working for the state, and you say, okay, part of your punishment is, you're doing these jobs for the government because the government is imprisoning you, and that's all of us together. It's another thing when you're doing it for private corporations. Then there's no excuse.
No, that's
the definition of slavery.
Or do we all feel, or how, I don't know how to phrase it that way, how do we feel about it if the work is done for the state? If it's road improvement, if it's...
Yeah, I think that's a little different because...
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, in other instances, community service. A lot of people do community service, and that's kind of for the government. That's kind of for all of us.
No profit motive involved.
Yeah.
No profit motive.
But when you attach a profit motive to it, and Anna's right, it also kills jobs for everybody else, because why the hell would they hire you at $15 an hour if they can pay this guy 20 cents an hour?
And remember, we imprison more people than any other country in the world, right? And so we have a gigantic prison population, many of which are people who are in there for nonviolent offenses like drug possession. And so it's this big, industrial complex that we talk about a lot, right? We have this industrial complex where people make money off of imprisoning people, and then corporations make money off of these imprisoned people doing slave labor, and then Americans get impacted because they lose jobs as well. So If you think this doesn't impact you at all because, hey, these are prisoners and they should be treated like shit and I don't care, just know it does impact you. It has an impact on the American economy.
There's 2.4 million Americans in prison. It's not a coincidence that we imprison so many more people over the last several decades, because there's one other twist to this story that nobody talks about, which is that, well, we now allow basically legalized bribery. So the corporation that runs the prisons, plus the corporation that uses the prisoners for almost free labor, both give money to the politicians to not only maintain the system, but to increase the number of prisoners. So then you or your neighbors, well, there's a profit in imprisoning you, and you don't have a lot of power, so off you go to prison. And so now some are beginning to pay a little bit of attention that we're imprisoning too many people for the war on drugs because it's affecting white people more. So the opioid addiction hitting Kentucky and New Hampshire and those places, and all of a sudden you have Republican legislators going, now you're arresting my nephew and my cousin, so I don't know that this is a good idea, so that's good. But they have not gotten to this issue. I mean, as Anna just told, 20,000 people on strike throughout at least 11 prisons at least 20 prisons in 11 different states, yet almost not a peep out of anyone on this.
Yeah.
Let's
You're right,
just to give some, aside from the hard numbers, which are like, again, more than 2.2 million, maybe as much as 2.4, we imprison about a little less than 700 prisoners for every 100,000 people, 693. China imprison, they cut people's hands off if they try to steal a handbag, right? They imprison 118. The UK, our greatest allies, they're below 150. We're nearly five times as many per 100,000 people as the United Kingdom.
Well, I was almost going to say this as a joke, but they don't have as many black people in England.
Right.
And we have a racist criminal justice system here, so that's probably why.
So, by the way, let me just buttress that with a cold, hard fact. One of Nixon's top aides admitted in the 1990s, well, of course we started the war on drugs, which, drugs used to be illegal before that, but they made it a marketing campaign and really picked up speed on imprisoning people through the war on drugs that Nixon started. And his aide said, well, because we wanted to arrest the people who were against us politically, hippies and black people. That's why we did it. We know why they did it. It's not a secret. And so, but now, as I said, it's affecting more people, so people are going, oh, wait.
There's a big new poll out this month from, I think, Morning Consult and Vox about Americans' attitudes toward prisons. And one of the things in there that's interesting, and the increase in the prison population due to the war on drugs is unquestioned. But the real rise in the prison population was due to our cracking down on violence. That was by way more than drugs has contributed to the over-prison population. Drugs is like the second boost to that. And again, we could look at it, there's a point at which we should probably let even violent offenders out. That would, as I don't know, 40 years, when you're 68 years old, maybe the time has come. And just how we react, how we treat, because the polls showed that we want the prison population reduced. But even if you say to people, if you're in prison and for a violent offense, and you are very unlikely to commit another violent offense, that we still don't want them out. We still bristle as soon as you put violence there. And violence was the big reason for the spike in the prison population.
Really?
Yeah.
Who reported that?
Vox and Morning Consult.
That kind of surprises me because the prison population blew up in the 1980s because of Reagan going after marijuana so aggressively.
It really did.
And that was when private prisons started popping up. 1984 is when private prisons really exploded in the country. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
No, but obviously it could be both because crime had spiked in the 60s and 70s. There's many reasons why it started to turn down. But they're doing the war on drugs, but 3 strikes, for example, affects both, both violent crimes and drug crimes, and then altogether it raises the overall prison population. But think about it, even if you're a conservative, there's deep conservative, there's 2 things that it's got to resonate with you, even if you don't care about the fate of these people and you think, oh, they had it coming and yada, yada. Number one, that's our taxpayer money. Because private corporations are making the money doesn't mean that they are putting up the money. No, we pay the money. It goes from us, the taxpayers, to the private corporation. So that's your money that they're spending on imprisoning all those people. And then secondly, come on, if you're a free market conservative, if you put a profit motive into something, what happens? more people do it, right? So it's not an accident that we have 5 times as many prisoners as the UK per capita, because we incentivize people to arrest people, right or wrong. If you create a profit motive and you say you're going to get rich off of imprisoning people, they will imprison more people.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. And so here we are, and we have got to get on the road to fixing this, because all those people are suffering, and they're not monsters. Yet, of course, some of the people in prison are, okay, but the huge percentage of them smoked a joint, whatever, or maybe dealt, or whatever it was. But we've criminalized so many things, and now, by the way, some of the things that happens is you didn't pay for a traffic ticket. Well, you can't be in prison for a private debt, but you can be in prison if you owe the government money. And now that built up because you didn't have the $78 and turned it into $300, turned into $3,000. You're never going to be able to get $3,000. Next thing you know, you're in prison, and on we go, because everybody's making a buck off of it. We can't have it. This isn't what America's supposed to be. Together we can change the media, make it more representative of you and not the powerful. Come join us, make a difference. tytnetwork.com/join.